What's going on, guys? Car Review Guys here. My name is AJ, and this week we have the 2024 Ford F150. This is the Tremor trim level. So we are going to be starting with the cinematic as usual. Then we are going to go to the exterior, talk stats, figures, that kind of thing. Then we are going to move to the interior, and then we are going to take it on a drive. So without further ado, let's get rolling. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that cinematic. So let's go over some of these stats and figures. So this Tremor has the 5-liter 8-cylinder pushing 400 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque. Of course, there is the optional EcoBoost if you would like to get that. Transmission comes in a 10-speed automatic. Rear-wheel drive, full time for the drivetrain, and then obviously you can select 4x4 whenever you would like it. The curb weight's coming in at around 5,267 pounds. My goodness, I cannot talk this morning. I apologize for that. And that is going to be pushing the 0 to 60 in around 5.6 seconds. Now, that's a rough estimate, right? You can get anywhere between 5.5 to 6 seconds. EcoBoost is closer to like the 5 mark, so just to give you some idea. Now, towing capacity also in ranges. So you're in the 10,000 to 13,500 range. All depends on not only trim level, but obviously motor as well. MPG, you're looking at 15 city, 20 highway, and a combined average of 17. Fuel tank size is 36 gallons on the Super Crew and the Super Cab, and then the standard for not just any of the other trucks really is going to be around the 23 gallon mark. But yeah, 36 gallons for the Super Crew and the Super Cab, which is ginormous in my opinion. Now, overall dimensions, we are looking at 19.3 feet in length, around 6.6 feet in width, and that is without the mirrors, which obviously they are power folding on this trim level. And then your ground clearance, you're looking at around 9.4 inches, and the Tremor, I think it's roughly an additional inch over the regular F150, so you do have some more ground clearance as well. Now, pricing is coming in at around $64,350, which is for the base Tremor. And the tester today, it does have the 402A, it has the roof, or the sunroof rather, sorry. Nonetheless, you were looking at $81,467. So of course, now that I'm filming, it's trying to be as windy as possible. So hopefully the audio is still good. We do have a high-end mic and have it's what's called a dead cat on the mic. Nonetheless, hopefully you can hear pretty good. Now, we are back here, so let's touch on the tailgate. You can see there are a few different options here. So if you come over here and select this button, it will swing open, right? So there is a notch right here, and the reason that is right there is so that way hopefully you don't hit whether you have a trailer hitch or whatever sitting there. Now, you can take it further if you would like, and there is another notch, and you can take it even one further past that. Now, obviously, you can shut that. Now, underneath the camera, if you come over here, it is a power tailgate, which is nice. Press the button, and down it goes. This truck is equipped with the bed liner in there as well. And then over here, you do have the onboard power system. So, like some other people that I have seen on the forums, that can be very useful because you may want to air down your tires if you're going off-road. You can put a generator in here, run it off the electric of the truck, and you can power, or you can basically air your tires up and down. So definitely a nice feature. You can obviously use it for other things as well. As stated, it is a power tailgate, so if you come underneath, press the button, up it will go. You can see underneath here there is a power step, which will come down if you would like it to. You have rear tow hooks for the Tremor. Underneath, you probably, I'll throw the camera under there to see if you can see anything, but there are a lot of skid plates. I'll show you more in the front. You can see over here actually on this shock, it says Tremor on it. So it does have a beefier suspension. It has a 2-speed transfer case, different leaf springs made for off-road as well, 33-inch all-terrain tires, and surprisingly, we'll talk about it as we get on the drive, but they drive really, really well. And again, that is a surprise, to be honest with you, because usually that's hard to get an off-road focused vehicle to feel nice on the road. Now, if we look in here, you can even see there's some skid plating straight through there. And if I take it underneath, hopefully you can see some more skid plating, 2 hooks on the front for towing as well, if you were to get stuck. Tremor, the other thing to note, different from the Raptor, of course, because a lot of people call this kind of like the baby Raptor, if you will, even though it's size-wise, it's there. It does not have the orange lights because it is not quite wide enough. I don't know if you knew that is a government regulation. You have to have those orange lights based on width. So it's not quite wide enough, but you could definitely add those there if you would like. Tremor, you can see like this goldish, roughly, color on the grille. And that is carried into the interior as well. Of course, headlamps, tail lamps, all LED. This is a great angle right here for you to kind of see, if I don't block it, see all of the flake in the paint. It's really nice. This is the antimatter blue, basically. Several options, obviously, you can choose from, but kind of, it looks almost black here, but then once you get it in the lighting, a lot of flake, looks nice. Fuel door is located here on the driver's side. Again, the gold coloring carried throughout to basically show that it is a Tremor. You do have a 360 camera, which right here is one of the cameras, the other one obviously on the front, the other one on the back, and then the other side. I think it's time we get into the interior, so let's open this rear door. Opens pretty wide, so no issue there. Definitely easy to get in. Touching on door materials very quickly, so just taking a look, soft touch where your elbow would go. Up here, it looks soft, but it's kind of like a rubberized material, kind of strange to be honest. You have the gold-ish stitching, I'm gonna call it, or bronze, whatever you wanna call it, all throughout. So let's go ahead and jump in. There is a handle up here to grab onto, and you have a nice, wide, and functional step, right? Because a lot of times there's like this little skinny thing. It's just not functional. So this, I don't even really feel like I need to grab, to be honest, but I will. So grabbing on, coming in, super easy to get in the back of this vehicle. Now that we're back here, I am a little bit tight on space. I've got about 14 to 18 inches. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. It's a joke. Calm down. There is a lot of space, right? Like I can literally kick back and forth. A lot of space back here. You've got 2 cup holders, but also a cup holder in your door as well. And then back here to the center, you have your own air vents, and you do have heated rear seats. And then down here, you've got a couple of different chargers. As you can see there, basically a wall outlet. And then down here, there's 2 USB-Cs. Taking a look at the seats, again, you can see Tremor on the seats. And if we were to pull this down, oh wow, okay. A little bit noisy, nonetheless. 2 cup holders located there for your center armrest. That is, yeah, it's noisy. As stated, this one has the panoramic roof. You can kind of see the edges all the way around it. It does look very, very nice, and inside you do have LED lighting. One more thing on the exterior before we jump into the front, you do have keyless entry. It is on the front doors, not on the rear doors, so I did want to point that out very quickly. Stepping into the front, again, you have a handle here, which is nice. Some vehicles don't for the driver. Don't know why that is, but very, very easy to get in this vehicle, front or back. Even with it having some more ground clearance, sometimes I may say, hey, if you have trouble kind of stepping up, it may be an issue. I just don't really think so. Like, you'd have to really be in bad shape to not be able to get your leg up that high. So definitely easy to get in. Taking a look at the driver's door, very similar to the rear door. Soft touch here, and then again, it's kind of like a rubberized material, a little bit different. And then up here, we do have all of our window switches. The fronts are auto up and down. And then you do have power folding mirrors, which is all the way up here. And then we've got 3 different settings for memory seating, lock, unlock. You do have lights on your mirrors, which are located right there. And then all of your different light settings as well. Tailgate. For your pedal adjustments, they are right there. You can bring your pedals forward or back, whatever is comfortable. Looking at the side of the wheel, you can see that it is a power telescopic wheel, and it does have good range of motion. I'm definitely happy with it. Taking a look out in front of us, a very, very big, nice and clear heads-up display. Hopefully you can see it good out there. 12-inch instrument cluster, and also a 12-inch screen. Which honestly is nice and big, easy to use. I will press a few different things here so you can see kind of the responsiveness behind it as far as touching different things. Yeah, I'm very happy with this. I love the infotainment screen. There are various different things that you can go through here. I'm not going to get into all of that. This is more like just if you're, you know, gonna own the vehicle, it's stuff you would sit there and go through and change and different stuff. I just don't think there's a lot to go through from the point of this video. We would be here literally all day going through that. Coming down, we do have some buttons and knobs, which is nice. So many vehicles. I mean, I love a nice screen, don't get me wrong, but it is nice to have some shortcut buttons to simply just press, especially tuning if you want to listen to the radio. What a pain in the butt to sit there and touch a screen the whole time. Like, you can just spin it to whatever you want immediately. Super nice. Dual zone climate, heated seats, cooled seats, heated steering wheel. Again, this is the 402A package, so you do get a pretty loaded truck. You've got a wireless phone charger down there, USB-C, USB-A, and then some more room in there. I don't know what this pocket is for, whatever you want. This, honestly, I don't know what 100% that's made for, pens, pencils, whatever, or maybe it's made for what I use it for, and honestly, I just set my phone there. Like, that's how it sits. I have the S23 Ultra, so it is the biggest. So if you have the biggest iPhone, you will also be able to fit as well. And then the wireless charging pad also fits the biggest of phones, so that is nice as well. You can see it charging, spinning, whatever. 2 cup holders, again, more chargers over here. Flip them up, whatever you want. You have a button here, open that little section there, and then obviously your glove box is located down below. Taking a look at the seats, if we kind of go here and here, you can see front and the rear, obviously Tremor, and again, like the goldish color throughout. So if I were to move my water bottle very quickly, and we were to press this button right here, you can press that. Down the gear shift goes. There's a little handle back in here, or button rather. Press that, folds out. Now you've got a big table, workspace. I believe Ford actually calls it like the mobile office package, which does make sense, right? Like if you're in construction or whatever, there's a million different things. You need to do paperwork all the time in your vehicle. Boom, nice flat space for you to be able to do so. So is a neat little feature that they offer. And this is still nice and soft touch for your elbow when it's here. Now there is a button underneath. You just press that, up it goes, and honestly, it is ginormous. You could fit so many things in there. Up above us, we do have various different aux. My understanding is you can wire to these. So like if you wanted like those lights out front or whatever, you could, you know, label it or wire it to aux 1. Again, I don't know everything on that. I can't, you know, not every piece of Ford information is out there. That's my understanding based on the forums. So if that is incorrect, I do apologize. However, that is my understanding behind it. Now, as far as the roof goes, we can press this once and it will basically go to the first notch, which is right there. And if we press it one more time, it's going to go all the way back. And again, super nice, like the whole thing. And you can see the difference between like the tents, right? So your head's not getting cooked off. So that is nice as well. And then down here, just talking on your different drive modes, right? You've got 2 high, 4 low, and 4 auto. Last but not least, let's take a look at the cameras. Let's press the button here. So again, camera through camera, never going to be quite the quality that you would love to see. However, it's really clear in person, right? So they've done a really good job. You've got the full 360 over here, and then right now it is on the front camera, as you can see out there. Same picture. And again, like I said, really good quality. Touching on the wheel before we get onto the road, over here on the left, at least this top section, is all of your cruise control settings. You do have lane centering and adaptive cruise control. This vehicle is equipped with Blue Cruise as well, and if you're not familiar, that is hands-free driving. However, I didn't know, I just learned this, that is subscription based, so it's a 90-day free trial. Then after that, you do have to pay for it, and it basically only works on all of like major interstates, basically, to my understanding, and that's all that it's worked for me. Local, around town, stuff like that, it doesn't work, but on the freeway, it absolutely does, and it works very well, I must say. Hands-free, it is totally there. Now, there is an eye sensor somewhere. I'm guessing it might actually be in here, because you can probably see this red flashing, and I can't see that in person. It's only through the camera lens. So my guess is that right there is what is watching your eyes. It's basically 8 seconds, just so you know. Your eyes have to be on the road, which definitely makes sense. Like, you should always be paying attention on the road, so I agree with that. Now, the part that I don't necessarily agree with is just the lane centering. Not Blue Cruise, just lane centering, where your hand is supposed to always be on the wheel, except for like getting a drink of water or whatever, something short like that. Nonetheless, I like to hold right here. Like you guys know, I've talked about it many times. I love when there's a cutout, so I love the design of this wheel. I can hold right here. However, my hand just resting here, looking straight ahead, every 8 seconds it'll come up on the screen and say, hey, you need to pay attention, grab the wheel, and my hand's on the wheel, it never left the wheel. So what that tells me is I basically just kind of do one of these little numbers, and I do that every 8 seconds, and it basically won't ding to tell me that it's on there. So it must be motion sensed and not pressure sense, is my guess. Or there's just no sensor in the bottom right here, and it's supposed to be up here. So nonetheless, just pointing that out so you guys are aware. Again, it's not bad, it's just something to point out. Now, over here you have your volume controls. Good grief, I can't talk this morning. You have voice activation, so you can talk for whatever you'd like, call somebody, whatever. All of your different menus, and these will change based on drive modes as well. All right, enough of me yapping about all the stuff. You guys want to know how does this truck drive? How does it drive on the road from a day-to-day aspect? Well, let's go find out. Let's roll. I have already put probably, I would say 80 miles roughly on this Tremor, and I'm telling you, it must be a theme nowadays, because I feel like a Pete and repeat here. They're getting so good. Like an off-road focused vehicle, like they use their sacrifice, right? Like you want an off-road vehicle, well, guess what? It doesn't drive all that well on the road, right? Like, I mean, like it drives, but not like comfortably and quiet and all of the things you get in like almost like the luxury side of things almost. And this thing's quiet. Like, just listen. Like the wind noise, I always kind of expect to be refined nowadays, to be honest, especially in these trucks. But tire noise, these are 33-inch tires, right? They're all-terrain tires. Generally, kind of hard to hide the sound. They're very maintained. Even on the freeway, like, it is maintained. So it's pretty impressive as to how quiet this truck drives, being really, again, off-road focused. It's got skid plates, it's got beefed up suspension, transfer cases, all of the stuff for off-road, which generally translates to, again, not that great of a drive, and they've somehow done it because it drives really well. So I kind of touched on it, of course, but just to be clear, right? You have basically, for me, 3 categories. You have basically wind noise, you have engine noise, and then you have tire noise. Those are basically my 3 categories. And again, from every aspect, it's quiet. They do have definitely an artificial sound piped in, It's kind of subtle, but I can definitely tell the difference. So when you're like upon full acceleration, you can hear more of the piped in sound than the actual motor itself, which I'll leave that to everyone's opinion as to whether they like it or they don't. Nonetheless, it's really quiet overall. Very happy with it. Touching on blind spots quickly, over to our left, the pillar is kind of thick, so you got to really look back there and make sure. Over to the right, not much of a blind spot, pretty easy to see. Now, of course, it is equipped with blind spot monitoring if you were to need it. Let's hit on this thing just a little bit here. Let's put it in. I mean, I'm happy with the acceleration. Again, it's a full-size truck. Some people want, like, you know, I don't know, TRX performance, I guess. I don't ever expect that. That's more than adequate for me. Feels beefy, feels kind of easy up until the very, very end and red line. It maybe feels like it's working a little bit hard, but still, it's a V8 and you can tell, and that's a good thing in my opinion. So we're coming up to our cattle guard. We do it every single week, every single press car. Basically just kind of test the suspension and the noise to kind of give a fair comparison between vehicles. So at 45 miles an hour, let's see what this sounds like. Here we go. And see, that's just my point. Did you see how smooth that was? Like, I had to have just barely moved any. And I don't even know if you could hardly hear it on there. And no vehicle is, like, to date has been just dead perfect over that. None. So that is definitely up there in top tier percent. That was really, really, really good. So touching on some of the lane centering features, as already mentioned, Blue Cruise is subscription based, more interstate on the, or more focused on just working on the interstate. My goodness, what is wrong with me this morning? I can't talk. Anyway, I apologize for that. The lane centering, so just around town, whatever you set your cruise, it works pretty good. Like I said, the only knock I have is like my hand is on the wheel, like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and it tells me every 8 seconds, unless I just slightly kind of move the wheel, that hey, keep your hands on the wheel, even though my hands never left the wheel. So that's my only, like, I guess, like, fix they could potentially do is put like a pressure sensor all the way around the wheel, which I know some manufacturers do, and if there is on this, it's just not where I grab the wheel, which then that's on me. As far as the adaptive goes, happy with how it accelerates, slows down, whatever. I think it's totally fine. Good with it. As far as suspension goes, again, you guys just saw in the cattle guard, absorbed it really well, which totally makes sense. It's an off-road vehicle. Stuff's going to be bumpy. You got to figure out how to get it smooth, and that is exactly what this vehicle does. Now, suspension-wise, as far as turning goes, I will say that is one sacrifice you are definitely making in this vehicle. You know, a truck in general, you're not expecting to make turns quickly by any stretch of the imagination. However, I will say it does feel a little softer, right? Like you got a little bit more body roll than just a normal truck. So there's a little bit of give and take from that aspect. But again, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. I think that wraps up just about everything. Next video, 5 things to love, 5 things to improve. If there's anything else you guys want to know, drop a comment. I try to respond to every single person. New press vehicle every single week. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.